మా ఛానల్ని ఇంతవరకు సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయకపోతే వెంటనే సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి. లేటెస్ట్ అప్డేట్స్ కోసం బెల్ ఐకాన్ని క్లిక్ చేయండి.
To discuss about web API technology. So basically we are going to discuss about the how to create the services using ASP.NET Web API. So basically, let's start actually. So what is a web, what's an web API and what is web API, and we are going to discuss how to create this web API and what exactly it contains. So what is the API principles? Basically, we call it as REST principles. What is REST API? Everything we are going to discuss on in this video. Okay, let's start. So basically, before understanding Web API, so let's understand about the API. API means Application Programming Interface. Okay, basically it's a programmable URL. Basically, Web API is a programmable URL or programming interface. Okay, that provides communication communication from client and server. So interaction between software application. So okay, Web API is often used to provide an interface for websites and client application to have data access. Web API can be used to access data from database and save data back to the database. Okay, yeah. So if you see the architecture or if you see the high level information about this Web API, I can give one example. As already we discussed, Web API is a application programming interface, or it's a programmable URL, right? So the example for this Web API is, let's talk about this. Take this example. For example, if we wanted to see the results of SSC exam, okay, 10th class examination result is online, right? So I can say that this is an example for an API, a web API. So HTTP www.sscboard/viewresult.aspx, let's assume that. So this is an API, it's a programmable URL. So where we are going to get the basic results, right? If you enter, this is an input actually. So if you provide the hall ticket number, then we will get the student marks information, right? So this programmable URL we can access anywhere actually. We can access through mobile application, and we can access through desktop, we can access through a web browser tab, anywhere, from anywhere, any location we are going to access over web, right? So this is the best example, the high level architecture for the web API. So here, this web application we call it as a client. So client is sending a request to the web API, okay, and it will provide the response to the client. So basically web API, this web API or the web service is available and it is running on a server. Okay, so let's assume that this is already created a API service which is running on a server. The client is sending a request. Basically, how we are going to send a request in over web is using HTTP protocol. Okay, HTTP request. We are sending a request to the service, a server. That service will provide the response in the form of JSON. JSON means JavaScript object notation, XML, extensible markup language, or any other formats. It will send the response to the client over web. Okay, so this is the architecture. So in web API, the basic advantage of consuming or writing a web API is we can access through HTTP protocol. We can access through HTTP protocol with any client. Any client can send a request to the service and get the response. Okay, so that's why this web API is very popular. It was introduced in the year 2000. Okay, choosing the web API and RESTable web services, the advantages are, so any application can communicate to the web API and get the response. Okay, very fast, because it internally using the JSON format, JavaScript object notation, or XML format, right? So an ASP.NET Web API has many advantages. You can see the advantages. Okay, one is any client can access and get the response in the form of JSON or XML format. And basically we have HTTP verbs like get, post, put, delete for creating and updating and deleting the resources operations. And it supports the routing concept. Routing is nothing but a navigation actually based on the route. Actually, see, based on the route, I can give an example here itself. Let's say for example I have a movie application. Okay, movie application, let's say for example I have a movie application that is hosted in localhost colon 12345 is a port number, and this is a movies. Okay, if I want to get all movies information, I can type like this, get all, and after hitting an enter, okay, after hitting an enter in the browser, I will get all the movies information. So this is a routing based pattern. Basically this we call it as a routing based pattern. Okay, and it supports validations. Model validation we can do in creating the web API and hosted in web server. So it will support local hosting and web server. It will support in self hosting, and we can support host in web server as well. Okay, so this is about the introduction of the web API. And what are REST standards? So there is one more concept. So this web API will follow the REST principle, representation of exchange of REST principle. It will follow the REST principle. Basically, we have 5 principles in REST standards. So this is very important actually. One is uniform interface. It will provide the uniform interface, that is programmable URL, and it will follow client server architecture. Client is sending a request to the server, and server will provide the response in the form of JSON or XML. Okay, and it is stateless. So tomorrow, if anyone asks about the API or RESTful API, is it stateless or stateful? It is stateless. Okay, and we can cache the response. We can cache actually. We can do caching. It is cacheable, and it is a layer architecture, layer system. Okay, using these RESTful web services, we are going to perform create. C means CRUD operations. Create, read, update, and delete operations. How we are going to create a resource using these verbs? We call it as we post, get, put, delete. These are main verbs. We call it as H. We call as HTTP verbs. HTTP verbs. Put, get, post, delete, and patch is also there. This is very important. These are very important information. We can see the request and response communication. So let's say for example a client is there. Client means I can give an example. Any mobile device, right? Mobile device. In the mobile, you are going to see you're going to book a movie, right? You're going to book a movie in the theater, right? So you want to see the movies which are running, latest movies which are running in particular theater. So you are accessing the movie service, what particular service, using mobile. So that is a client. Okay, and you are sending a request to the API. This is nothing but a server. So you are sending a request to the server. Okay, based on the information you want, because the server is running in a particular port number. uh, each and every server, so service, it is going running in a particular port number, and that is having a host name and IP address, these details. So client we are sending a request to the server, that is developed using web API or REST API, and you will get the response. So it will do some process. This server in turn connects to the database. Okay, for example, I can give an example as list out all the movies, right? List out all the movies in a theater. So we are sending a request to the service, and service will interconnect to the database. In the database, we are storing the movie related information, and it will hit the particular method. So in API we have a method function called get get all movies. Okay, get all movies. So we are sending a request. How we are sending a request? So we are sending a request. We are sending a request like this: http colon www dot, okay, movies site dot com slash get all movies, let's say, for example. So if you are sending a request like this, so this is called as routing. This is called a route, right? Based on that route, it will hit the service. Based on the route information, it will process the request, and it will fetch the all movies details here, and database, it will connect to the database, and database will execute the query in database, and it will give the result to the service, and service will send the response to the client, so that in client you are going to get all the movies information. Okay, so this is the process of client server architecture. Whenever client sending a request to the server, okay, we are sending a request to the server. How we are sending a request to the server? Based on the host name and port number, we are sending a request to the service, a server. Server will create an object, and that will send back to the client, so that the client is going to get the response. So how you like client going to get the response? In the form of JSON format. Okay, JSON means JavaScript object notation. So over web, over internet, it is going to get the data in the form of JSON. Okay, so in this video, we already discussed about, we have discussed about the what is web API. Okay, web API is a programmable URL, programmable interface. So just like it is a service, actually we are going to create a service using ASP.NET web API framework. So, and we are going to create a service so that it will expose the contract, and it will expose the behavior to the outside world. Okay, so in this particular API, in this particular example, we are creating a movie, get all movie information, right? Get all movie information that will expose to the client. So this client today, it is a mobile device, tomorrow it any other laptop also, it should be any other laptop that can send a request. The client should be n number of clients. Here n number of clients are sending a request to the web API. Okay, so there is no limit, no restriction to the client. So client desktop client, this is a desktop client, right? They are going to send a request to the service. Okay, so now let's quickly jump into coding part. So I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to create an employee service and get the data from the database. Okay, so for that, so I have already created a table called TBL employee, so in an employee database. This is basically SQL Server management studio. One thing I wanted to tell, actually, to create this client server architecture, you need to know how to create a client, and how to create a service, and how to consume the service. Okay, this is a database. So I have already installed this database in my machine laptop. SQL Server, actually SQL Server management studio. So just I have already created the table. This is the table structure. Table employee, I have employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and department. So I have a table called department. Select star from TBL. I have a department table. So these are two tables. Okay, so I have a I have a department table and employee table. So department table consisting of department ID, department name, and department description. Okay, one department ID is software department, accounts department, finance department, and HR department. So I created an employee. So these are my employees. All employees are belongs to software department. Okay, let's go and create this web API service. Okay, for that, okay, for that web API service, this is a Microsoft Visual Studio. This software you're going to use actually. So you need to install. I have installed Microsoft Visual Studio 2017. You're going to install this one, and now we are going to discuss how to create this service. Okay, I'm starting on a project. So this is a Microsoft Visual Studio. Just open this studio and go to File menu, New, File, New, Project. Okay. Now this is a web, right? Web service, web API, right? So I'm selecting this web option and go to ASP.NET Web Application Framework. Okay. I'm giving demo employee service. Okay. And this is a .NET Framework version. .NET Framework 4.6.1. Okay. I'm clicking OK. So after clicking OK, it will display a pop-up. Okay. And you need to select Web API. Okay. You need to select Web API and click on, and I'm checking MVC. Okay, you need to select Web API and click on OK. Then it will create the solution. It will create the project. Okay, and I wanted to tell one more thing. So I'm using MS SQL, Microsoft SQL Server database, right? So now what I'm trying to do is, now I'm trying to create this part, REST API. I'm going to create a service which in turn interacts with the database and get the data from the database to the service. So this part, actually this part I'm going to do now. Okay, to establish a communication with the database, we need a connection string actually. So where the database is located, it is running again under one server, right? So what is the IP address, what is the port number it is running, username, these details are required. So I'm using entity framework for that to establish a connection to the database. Okay, still creating it is, right? In the process of creating project, it's adding all the DLLs, supporting DLLs to this project. Guys, if you wanted to learn new technologies, so into .NET, my recommendation is please install this Microsoft Visual Studio 2017, which is free actually. Freeware is also available. You can get it from this Microsoft website, and you can download this software, and also you can install SQL Server, and also start install Angular and start doing the program. So so now I am able to create the project. Okay, demo employee service. So if you see the folder structure, so these are the under references, these are all supporting DLLs. Okay, and we have app underscore start actually. So and web API config file will be there, where all configuration settings will be present in this web API config. Okay, and if you see here controllers, so basically this API is built on top of ASP.NET. It will follow like a controller basic architecture actually. So and we have one more thing, global.asx. If you see this global.asx, this is the main place where the actual execution will start. If you hit over web http localhost, that application name, it will first hit this file, this application underscore start event actually. This, it will hit this start event and do the bootstrapping process. So it will fetch the route and fill the route, then controller action method will be controller will be instantiated, then controller action method will be invoked, then uh, perform certain action and render that action. Okay, so now, okay, so now I have created this demo service web API project. Okay, after that, so the second step is, okay, guys, first step is Okay, create a web API project using Visual Studio 2017. Okay, I've created this project. Okay, just created, not implemented, just created. Second step is establish a connection to the MS SQL Server database. Okay, this database, just link up from that web API project to this database. How you are going, I'll show you. So here you're going to use one technology, one entity framework. So create the, just select the solution project and add, go to add. So add a new item, I mean new template, new item. So we are going to add a data, that is ADO.NET entity data model we are going to add. Okay, so now it will ask for the selection of the database, entity framework designer from database. Okay, I'm clicking next. Okay, and here you are going to create the connection to the database. Okay, which data connection? So I am using data source in my MS SQL Server client. So server name. Okay, so okay, it is listing out the server names. Just wait for minute, 1 minute. Please wait. Okay, this is my database server name. Okay, okay. So I'm going to use Windows authentication. Okay, select the database name. So as I already showed, database name is employee. Okay, and just click on test connection. Okay, test connection succeeded. That means we are successfully establishing a connection to the database, that is this SQL server. Okay, I click on OK. So as soon as if you click on OK, then it will construct a connection string. Okay, and that connection string you are going to view in a configuration. Web.config is a main file. This web.config file you are going to see the database connection details. Okay, employee entities. Right now I'm going to give a name called demo employee entities. Okay, entity is nothing but a database table. We can refer two ways. Entity is nothing but a database table name or any class. Okay, so it is asking which version you are going to use. Entity framework 6.x. So guys, just remember entity framework, there are versions. So these are important. Entity framework 6.x I am going to use. Click on next. So now in this step it will list out all the tables. Okay, if you select the table, it will show all the tables. DBO, under DBO we have these two tables. Because why it is listing two tables? Because I have selected employee database. In employee database we have only two tables, right? So that's why it is listing two tables. These are the two tables. Okay, and employee model, and click on finish. Okay, as soon as you click on finish, it will create a new file in the project, demo employee service. Under demo employee service, one second. It is giving an issue. ADO.NET entity data model. Okay, okay, one second. Entity data model. I'm giving demo model 1. Okay, and entity framework design from database, employee entities. Okay, demo employee entities. Okay, next demo employee model. Okay, see, if you see the bottom, adding entity framework 6.2.02 project. So now what we have done is just we we establish a connection to the database. Okay, so earlier in previous days we used to write in manual code to connecting to the database. Now this tool actually so doing the job on behalf of writing the code. Okay, yeah, we have created the you know we have created the connection to the database. Okay, so see, I have given name demo model dot edmx this file. So basically entity data model we call it as edmx file. So this also important, guys. You can google it about edmx, how to create a edmx file. So just I have created this edmx file. That means if you go and see in the edmx, so so this is a ORM tool, basically object relation mapping. Actually, we call it as object relational mapping. So whatever the database entities are there, just we are mapping here actually using this entity framework. Okay, so these are the tables. Okay, the table. So in table employee, whatever the table is there in the database, the same properties will be there: department ID and department name, department description. And table employee means, okay, employee ID, employee name, and salary, department ID, address, gender, type of employee. So this information will be there. Now we establish a connection to the database. Now go and verify in the web.config under connection string section. Go to the web.config and verify it. You will find the connection string information. So see, so under connection string section, add name equal to demo employee entities, and this is the connection string details. Okay, using this connection string information, I told you, right, we are in API and constructing a process to communicate to the database. Okay, okay, this is the process. Now let's start and go to the controllers and right click and add a controller. Okay, so ASP.NET API to controller, empty controller, just add it and name it as employee controller. Okay, name it as employee controllers because we are going to create a employee service, right? So employee controller. So it is going to create a employee controller under controllers folder. Okay, so every controller you create that will inherit from API controller. Okay, this is the base method actually. So this is the base method. If you go and see here into the definition, it is inheriting from ISTP controller and iDisposable. Okay, now you are going to write the logic for for getting the request and processing the request and display the result, right? So for that, okay, September 2 completed, and step number 3 is write the logic to get the details from database and return to the client. Okay, okay, so I'm going to add the route prefix. Okay, route prefix of API v1 version 1 and employee. Okay, so I'm going to get the employee details. Why I'm writing this route prefix is, route prefix is nothing but I'm going to identify the service using this route prefix. So it should be just like that, like here once again. So that is for route prefix. Now go and write the methods. Okay, so public, so I HTTP action result, and get, write the get method. Okay, get method is used to get the all employee details. Okay, and before that, okay, employee controller, right? Before that, we're going to create any entities, demo employee entities. Okay, and entities equal to new demo employee entities. Okay, using this entities, demo employee entities. Okay, go and see the definition here. So basically, why we are using this, right? We are going to establish a connection, right, to the database. So that connection information is present in this demo entities class. Using this demo entities class, we are going to access the tables, table departments and table employees. The table information presented in the demo employee entities, which is implementing the DB context. So basically, there is a concept actually. DB context. Uh, okay, DB context is a class that is going to use to create an create an instance to the database object, the demo entities. Okay, so just that's why I'm creating the demo entities variable, and this using this entity variable. So since this is a get method, right, we need to decorate with the this verb http get. So just I have created one method which returns ihttp action result. Okay, and I'm decorating that method with the get, since it is a get request. So under the get request, where employees, I'm going to get the employee information based on the entities dot table. So see, this demo entity is going to contain the table information. Okay, so table employees dot, this is very important, to list. Just write it a to list, otherwise you will not get the data. Return sorry return JSON of, return the employee object. Okay, this is for get. Okay, and I'm writing the comment here. This method is used to get the employee details from database. Okay, using demo employee entities. Okay, now so this method is used to get the information. Okay. uh, let So the route prefix means when I'm running this web API service, so this service should be identified with this route prefix. That's why we are notating like this. See, annotates a controller with a route prefix that applies to all actions within the controller. The controller name is employee, and this we call it as actions. So whatever the methods we write in the controller, those are called as actions. Okay, one second. It is running actually. It is running. So it will open a browser. Okay, it will open a browser. Let's see. Google Chrome is not responding. Okay. Yes, it is opening a browser and running on a port number. That's it, guys. We have created a service, employee service. We have created an employee service. Okay, so I'm running the service localhost 53911. Okay, 53911. So HTTP localhost 53911 slash API slash v1 slash employee. Okay, so this is the URL for that employee service. If you make request to this URL, you will get the response. Okay. 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 What happened? Still it is loading. Yes, still it is loading. Employee service is running up and running on the port 53911. Okay, it is running now. So now, okay, slash slash. Now we are going to create one more method, public. Okay, which returns table employee. That means we are going to get the employee details. Get employee by ID. Okay, and we are going to pass int employee ID. Okay, we are going to, by passing the employee ID, we are going to get the results. Okay, return that entities dot, okay, TBL employees dot, and write first or default. Okay, this first or default method which returns the, based on the employee employee ID condition, equals to emp ID. Based on the employee ID we are passing, right? If you pass the employee ID 1, it will give the first employee record. 2 means 2 employee ID record, like that it will give. So what, so get the employee details based on the employee ID. Okay, based on the employee ID we are going to get the employee details. Okay, fine. And now we are going to write a HTTP post. HTTP post is nothing but create an employee. Okay, save the employee details into the database. Okay, for that we are going to write one more method, that is public. Now this time I'm going to return HTTP uh, response message. Okay, this is a class actually. So this is a class. We are going to tell to the client, once the employee details are successfully inserted into the database, then we are going to send to the client that OK message, that status code we are going to send. That's why this message, you can see that what this class contains. It will contain a status code. Okay, status code and message. okay, and error code, these things it will contain. Okay, now public HTTP response message, what I can write is, I can write post. Okay, now this time you can use form body, form, not from body, you can use from body of TBL employee. I'm going to send this employee, right? TBL employee, right? So employee object. Now now that entities dot TBL employees, this object that dot add. So in the database we have how many records we have? For employees we have 4 records. We are going to add one more record of the type employee. Okay, and after adding, you need to write entities dot save changes. You need to call entities dot save changes method. Okay, now now so we need to return the HTTP response message, right? For that, okay, for that just create a var message equals to request dot create response, request dot create response of HTTP status code dot created, comma, give the employee object. This employee object is, we are telling to the client this employee object is created, and message dot message dot headers dot location equal to, in the headers we are going to add this new URI of request dot request URI request URI plus that employee created employee object dot employee ID. This employee, new employee ID is created. We are going to provide this employee ID, and we are going to return the message. Okay. Okay, can you see this create response is of type HTTP response? So we are returning this HTTP response. Okay, this is for post. Okay, and coming to the put. Okay, put means we will get the employee details based on the employee ID, and we are going to update. So just write the HTTP put. That means this this method is used to update the employee information. Okay, public, again public. So for put also we are going to return the HTTP response. Okay, HTTP response. Okay, now put, I am going to write put int id, comma, from body of table employee object. We are going to give table employee of that employee object. You need to write. Okay, so what we'll do, get the employee based on the ID and update that employee. Okay, here he is passing that ID, right? With that ID get the employee details and update that ID. So this information we are having in the entities object, entity dot. Okay, so now I'll create one variable where entity info equal to entities dot table employees dot, again first or default emp search. This is we called as lambda expression, employee dot employee id equals to this id, give that id. Okay, that id. So we will get the this, based on this id you will get the record. Okay, we are going to update this record. Okay, so we are going to add a condition. If it is null, if that entity info is not equal to null, then only we are going to update, otherwise we are going to return a error message. So if entity is not equal to null, then entity info, right, that entity info dot employee name we are going to set with the employee dot employee name. Okay, entity info dot department id we are going to set the employee dot department id. Entity info dot gender, okay, we are going to set the employee dot gender. Entity info dot salary we are going to get the employee dot salary. Okay, entity info dot what else, employee name is there, type of employee. Okay, whether it is a contract employee or a permanent employee, employee dot type of employee. Now we are setting the information. So after that, entity after that entities dot save changes. And return, sorry, return of, guys don't worry, I'll show the output also. Return of request object dot create response of http status code dot okay. Okay means it is successful. Then I am going to pass the entity info. Okay, else means the record is not present, then in that case return request dot create error response. This time we are going to return an error response. Okay, http status code dot not found, not found, the employee object is not found. Okay, employee is not found with, for that employee id. Okay, that's it. This is for entity info I have created outside, right? So employee details are updated. Now we are done with the update method. Okay, so for that we are using HTTP put. Okay, verb. Now HTTP delete. Okay, HTTP delete. So this method is used to delete the employee information. Okay, again public. So now we are going to return HTTP response message. Okay, HTTP response message, and delete. For deletion of the employee, just employee ID is enough. So based on the employee ID, we are going to delete the information. This method is used to delete the employee information. Okay, employee information based on the employee ID. Okay, so for deleting, right? So for deleting again, we are going to get the entity, where entity equal to, okay, from that entities dot tbl employees dot, again first star default. So this first star default, it is going to get the matched employee ID information. So if the matched employee ID, the ID employee ID information is not present, it will not throw any exception, just it will give null. If it is matching the ID employee ID, let's say for example it is 3, the employee ID is 3 present in this database, then it will give the result, otherwise it will not give the result. That is the use of this method, first or default. Okay, first or default. Okay, first or default employee, such that employee dot empid equal to that ID. Okay, it will give the entity. Okay, emp entity. Okay, employee entity. So if again emp entity not equal to null, right, that is not equal to null, it is not equal to null, then we are going to delete the employee information. Okay, so if it is not equal to null, then simply from that entities we are going to remove this. We have remove. Okay, that will accept an entity. So emp entity and entities dot save changes we are going to write, because to persist this information into the database we are going to write this statement. Okay, then return of, we are going to return the status message, right? Request dot create a response. Okay, HTTP status course dot okay, that's it. Mhm. So we are we are writing right inside that emp entities. Emp entity is not equal, now they are going to delete the emp entities. Entity dot save changes. Then, or else we can do one thing. HTTP response message equal response equal to null. That response assigned to here. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we can even write the try catch also. Try catch is for handling the exception. Try, you can put it here. Try and catch. We are going to catch the exception here. So return request dot create error response. Okay, in the catch we are going to write the stp status code dot bad request, and we are going to pass the exception message, that object, exception object. So this is for deleting. Okay, let's see all the methods one by one. Okay, this is employee controller. Okay, employee controller, it is not hitting the controller actually when I am running. So route prefix API v1 employee, API v1 emp, okay, slash employee, API v1 demo plus employee. Okay, get. That's it guys, this is for HTTP get. So